Hi, my name is Michelle Fitzgerald and I'm the Training Director for the Senzar Learning Center. Most Senzar training programs involve the use of intuition. We specialize in helping people develop their intuition, but probably more importantly, how to take intuition and make it really useful and use it for highly practical and beneficial purposes in everyday life. So today I'm going to show you an example of that. I'm going to show you how to use your intuition to measure the human aura. And you might say, well, why would I want to do that? and the reason that you might want to know how to do that, and you're going to need to have intuition to be able to do that, is that the aura is an energetic reflection from the physical body and from the what's called the light body system that is associated with the physical body, the energetic system, that's the subtle energy system that's associated with the physical body. The strength of the aura, which can be literally measured as a distance from the human body, the distance that it actually reflects out from the body, can be an excellent indicator as to a person's physical and energetic health. So taking a reading periodically on the quality of your aura, or the aura of your pet, or the aura of your husband, or whatever, or whoever, it can help you it's kind of like taking the temperature, a physical temperature, taking a thermometer and measuring your temperature, your body temperature. If we get 98.6, we know, hey, we're, at least from that standpoint, that's indicative of reasonably good health. If we see a temperature of 102, or we see a temperature 3 days in a row of 96 or 95, we know that there's something wrong, there's something amiss. And we might want to go see a medical doctor, we might want to go see an energy medicine specialist, whatever your preferences are. We might want to do some intuitive inquiry on ourselves as to what's going on that's causing the temperature variation. It alerts us there's a problem. The same with the aura. A healthy aura should be usually 4-6 feet out from the body, would be a decent field strength, you could call it, for the human aura. If it's not that far out, if it's really collapsed and tight in on the body, it can mean things like maybe you've got some kind of physical sickness developing. It can mean things like you've been injured somehow. It can be indicative of you holding too many trapped negative emotional energies. That will collapse the aura. Ultimately, that will make you sick. It can be indicative, if the aura is collapsed in on the body, it can be indicative that you've got some kind of energy problem. You might have gone to a party a week ago and picked up all kinds of gnarly negative thought forms from people at the party, and they're still attached to you. They haven't worked themselves out of your system, and that's going to compromise your energetic health, and that ultimately is going to compromise your physical health. So you take a measurement of the aura to help you figure it, just as a gauge, are you doing pretty good or are you not? Do you need to be concerned? So it's very, very simple to do this. We're going to use an intuitive skill called dowsing to do this. There are other ways to measure the aura, the strength of the aura. Clairvoyance can see the aura. I'm highly clairvoyant. I very often can see without trying what's going on in a person's energy field. Clairvoyance often will see colors. I'll often see thought forms in the energetic fields of other people. I'll see what's hanging out in their aura, let's say. But bottom line is there's lots of different tools you can use, or methods that you can use, intuitive methods you can use to measure the aura. We're going to use a really simple starting method today, and that's dowsing. If you don't know what dowsing is, or if you don't know how to dowse already, you can go onto my website, the Sedona Portal website, or Senzar Learning Center website is sedonaportal.com. And there's a section, you go to the home page and there's a section that just says about dowsing, and go there and you can get a free dowsing lesson, a nice printed lesson that you can print out. There are also several videos that you can watch and you can learn how to do dowsing. I taught myself how to dowse probably 30 years ago in 5 minutes or less. You can do the same thing. It's very, very simple to learn how to use it. So we're going to do dowsing today, and we're going to use a dowsing rod. There are many different dowsing tools, but we're going to use a rod. It's just the easiest for our purposes today. This is just a little piece of brass. You could just as easily use a coat hanger, anything that you can bend and make an L like this. This is literally called an L rod. okay? And I'm basically going to give my subconscious, my unconscious system, and my intuitive network, basically, the instructions that on the kind of information I want to get about my aura, or about the aura of whatever I want to measure, or whoever I want to measure. I'm going to start by measuring the aura of this little plant here. This is a plant that I bought, this little poinsettia I bought about 3 months ago. It's now the first week in March. It's March 7th, 2014, today of the filming. And I bought this plant in early December. You'll notice how wonderfully robust and healthy this little poinsettia still is. This is a living poinsettia. It's not a fake silk plant. It's very, very healthy. I bought this poinsettia because when I walked into the grocery store, one of my intuitive skills is that I'm highly clairsentient. I can feel people's auras and the health of the auras. I can feel emotional energies. I can feel all kinds of things. Just by getting close enough, physically close enough to a person, I will be able to sense that. And I could sense this aura out of the aura of this plant and the energy system of this plant and how healthy and robust this little plant actually was. And so out of all the plants, I bought this one. And here we have it. I was right. The plant is incredibly healthy and happy. So I've asked the plant if it would help me out today, and she said yes. And so I'm going to set her here. And I'm going to show you how to use dowsing to measure the field of this plant. Now, I have not done this before. This is a blind test. I don't really know where what the strength or weakness of the auric field of this little plant will be. But I just want to show you how I would go about doing it. We're going to take the rod, and I'm going to tell my system, my energetic system and my intuitive system, that I'm going to walk with the rod towards this plant. When I get to the edge of the energy field of this plant, the auric field of this plant, I would like the tip of the rod to give me a response. I'd like it just to move like this. What's happening is I'm getting I ask a question, I'll get intuitive feedback. That's going to show up as little neuromuscular responses inside my body that are very slightly going to move this rod. It will look like it's moving all on its own, but it really isn't. My unconscious system is actually moving the rod. Little twitches in my hands are causing the rod to move in a certain way and give me the readout based on the answer or the question that I'm asking. So here we go. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to scoot back. I'll probably leave the scene here. I'm going to start walking towards the plant. Again, I do need to take a breath. You need to calm yourself down when you're doing any kind of intuitive work. You need to get still inside. You can't be all bouncing around and get clear intuitive readouts. So the intuitive question is, I want to see the edge of this plant's aura. And it's pretty darn broad for a plant. It's clear out here. That's pretty amazing. So this is a happy, healthy plant still. And sorry to have my back to the camera. I'm kind of surprised. I'm happy for the plant that the auric field is clear out here. That's a very happy, healthy plant. And this plant's probably going to look like this for quite a while to come. And probably will be with me, maybe not red, but will be with me next December, which is very exciting. So the auric field is clear out there. So that's a healthy, happy plant. I wouldn't worry about that. That's an acceptable auric read for a plant, is to have an aura that reflects out, a foot. That's about probably 18 inches from that plant, which is really good. Now, how would you measure yourself? Well, here's how you do it. How will I measure myself? I don't know what my aura looks like today. But I'm going to use the wall, and I'm going to tell my intuitive system that I want my whole system to think of the wall as me. Now, my intuitive system already knows the strength of my aura. It already knows where the edge of my aura is today, if I were to measure it. So I'm going to say, pretend the wall is me, and I'm going to walk forward, and assuming the wall is me, I want you, system, to show me where the edge of my aura is today. And I'm going to start walking forward, just like this. And there's the edge of my aura right at this moment. Okay, so where are we? I'll back up a little bit. We're about probably 8 feet from the wall. that's a reasonably robust aura. I would not have concerns about myself. That's like getting a reading with a thermometer of 98.6. So great. I'm not going to pursue further trying to figure out if anything's wrong with me or blah, 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 because that's a pretty good reading. Now, I've had many times where I've gone to check my aura and I don't even barely take a step and I get, boom, a response that there's the edge of my aura. Oops, that's not so good. I'm not going to be concerned about that on day one, but if I take a reading the next day and the next day and the next day, and I'm still seeing that kind of response, that's going to be the red flag that I better check out what's going on in my body, what's going on in my energetic system that's compromising my aura. Because again, the aura is a good gauge that of the wellness or lack of wellness in the physical and energetic system. So there you have it. There's a simple lesson on how you can use a basic intuitive skill like dowsing, a simple tool to get a readout, a dowsing rod, to measure a subtle energy field, to measure the field of a plant, literally the reflection of the life force and well-being of a plant or of a person, and how you can do that for yourself. You don't even need a helper. So I hope you enjoyed that little training lesson, and I hope you'll check in again. I look forward to seeing you next time.